Shuddho buddho vimukta Shrudishikharagiram mukhyatatparya bhumi Yasmad jatam samastam Jagadidam amrtat vyapya sarvam sthito yaha Yasyam sham shavataraihi Suranaravanajairakshidam sarvametad Tam bhumanam mukundam hridigatam amalam Krishnameva prapadye Tam bhumanam mukundam hridigatam amalam Krishnameva prapadye Madhiya hridaya kashe sadanandamayo Guru Udetu satatam samyak Swatmananda prabodhagaha Swatmananda prabodhagaha Harihi 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 Om Tats Jaya Guru Jaya Guru. As usual, we shall have 3 times joint recitation of the auspicious monosyllable Omkara. We are doing it as a japa tapo nishtha. It is an recitational austerity. Try to catch this phrase and understand and assimilate it well, using your sound and making it a spiritual nishtha. You know, everything in the human world completely rests upon the speech factor of the human. What is taking place inside a person, others will never be able to know. Only when articulation is there, we have an access to another's inside, mind and the intelligence. The sound is very, very important. The value of sound we cannot describe. Use that sound to perform an austerity. This austerity is very simple, chanting Om, Om, Om. There are 3 syllables which make Omkara, represent the entire gamut of knowledge which human has been articulating ever since the beginning. So this Om is a representative of the entire gamut of knowledge belonging to the human race. Now we are using that Omkara as a nishtha, as an austere nishtha, in order to contribute to the world welfare and also purify, sublimate and refine our own personality. Interlock your fingers. Put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect. Close your eyes. Open the mouth and heart and join me. When you recite, every one of you must deliberately have the sankalpa, the creative thought, imagination, that our joint sound should permeate the whole of the earth, showering its benedictions on all the creatures which thrive on the earth and the sea. Oh Now, our submission to Krishna, as Arjuna did it. Karpanya dosho bhagata swabhavaha.
Karpanya dosho bhagata swabhavaha.
Karpanya dosho bhagata swabhavaha.
Karpanya dosho bhagata swabhavaha.
Pritchami tvam.
Pritchami tvam.
Dharma sammudha chetaha.
Dharma sammudha chetaha.
Yachreyasya
Yachreyasya
Nishchitam bruhi tanme.
Nishchitam bruhi tanme.
Shishyasteham
Shishyasteham
Shadhimam
Shadhimam
Tvam Prapannam.
Tvam Prapannam.
Shishyasteham
Shishyasteham
Shadhimam
Shadhimam
Tvam Prapannam.
Tvam Prapannam.
While describing Shastre Vadibhayam, Shastre Vadibhayam, our country was quite distinguished in striving for and gaining scholarship and enlightened grasp of matters here, especially our culture. And our culture is very great, eternal, and extremely adorable, even unparalleled. So we have a number of shastras. To read all of them, to know them. Generally it is said, as I already told you, 4 Vedas and 6 shastras. If one is completing all these 4 plus 6, 10, he is considered to be even a sarvajna, all-knower. So people used to have a lot of scholarship, but every scholar has got a fear of opponent. So Bhartrhari makes a mention of it. Everything in this world is associated with fear. Even scholarship is, he says, because every scholar is very fearful about having to succumb to another, a greater scholar. Then I narrated the story of Yamunacharya. I happened to read Yamunacharya not in this kind of a context. There is a beautiful stotra, hymn, written by him, composed by him. I used to recite some of these verses. They are very, very beautiful. I have no words to describe them. If I say soul stirring, it will not be sufficient. It is soul encompassing. Wonderful verse. I would like, if possible, to recite some 2, 3 or 4 verses today by the time I complete and explain it. Meanwhile, we were discussing, as Brahmacharini Namrata Surupa told you, the 22nd verse of the 5th chapter. Yamunacharya's story, whatever you have heard, was about his scholarship. So I had made an announcement that you have heard this much. But is this the real story of this great scholar who became a sannyasin? Can you imagine? A scholar becoming a sannyasin who was rewarded for his scholarship by the king, half his kingdom. So, it's all because of Bhagavad Gita. Nothing else. So this verse particularly has a full relevance to Yamunacharya. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayo nayevate adyanta bantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Whatever experiences, not even pleasures, you have, when the senses contact the objects of the world. So whatever sensory pleasures are there, Adyantavantaha, they have a beginning and an end. Hey Kaunteya, Kuntiputra, Nateshu Ramate Buddha. The wise man never rejoices in them. My dear souls, how many times should I say this? Are you wise? Would you like to be wise? I hope you are not idiotic. If you don't have idiocy, naturally you are enlightened. So if you are enlightened, what I have to say is, you should not rejoice in the sense object pleasures. This is what Krishna says. When did he say this? 5,000 and odd years ago, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Arjuna had gone after 13 years of preparation to display his skill and enhance his fame. At that point, right in between the armies, Krishna took him to inspect the armies as Arjuna wanted. So standing there on the chariot, looking at both armies, he felt so confronted, overpowered, unnerved, that he decided to abandon the war. That is the time Krishna started a dialogue with him with a view to set right his mind, empower his mind and intelligence, have clear vision, restore his memory, etc. And Krishna achieved it by a 2 or 2.5 hour dialogue. During that discussion he says this. What is this? This is a verse on dispassion. Though it is a verse on dispassion, it is an exhortation to the scholars, to the wise people in this world. So our wise people never delight unduly in the sensory area. For us the delight is entirely different. We have higher delights, inner delights, super delights, the acme of delights, but not from the objects of the world. The objects are inert. They cannot generate any experience or knowledge. Our body and senses also are inert. But they are animated by the spiritual presence inside in the form of the functional mind. Understand it. I have spoken it several times. Our body and senses are inert and they cannot cause any experience. So the entire experience is caused, instilled, generated by the mind. So the delight also is mind-born, mind-subsisting, mind-governed, mind-regulated, mind-generated. So where is the question of looking to the sensory objects at all for getting your delight? Can the senses, in the absence of the mind, contact the objects and generate the delight? It is impossible. In fact, all experiences are inner and internal. So the delight also is internal. Internal means, what is its source? It cannot be the body. It cannot be the blood. It cannot be the air. It cannot be the water. It cannot be the bones. It cannot be the flesh. It cannot be the hair. Then what else is it? It is the inner spiritual presence, and the functional note of this presence is mind which does mentation and intelligence which does intellection. So, though mind is animating the body, the power of animation really comes from the inner presence, the I, the soul. So that is the source of delight. So the wise man always looks to it. This is completely applicable to Yamunacharya's story. The other day I said, if all of you want to listen to the remaining part of the story, I shall take it up the next time. Many people did not respond, but some people have responded, and all of them are very good viewers of this program. So I decided to take up this again, though I have spoken on it earlier. The same Swamiji is speaking, and see how does he speak about it. I will also be a listener to this Swamiji. The story, as you know, Yamunacharya was born in AD 918. He was born in Madurai, the capital of Pandya kingdom. His grandfather was a scholar. His name was Natha Muni. Yamunacharya's father had died early, Ishvara Muni. Natha Muni took up the life of sannyasa and he started worshipping Lord Vishnu. Sannyasins can have two ways. One is to worship the Supreme Lord, considering Him to be everything, omnipresent. Others will contemplate upon the inmost self. For them, the self, the inner presence is everything. And what is present inside, it is equally present outside because it is omnipresent. So the devotees generally worship God, considering Him to be omnipresent. The other people, the Vedantic and knowledge-oriented people, they always contemplate upon the inmost self. This Yamunacharya, even at the age of 5 years, he went to study in the school of Bhashyacharya. And the king had a pundit in his palace. That pundit also was a great scholar. So he defeated all the people and started collecting a fee from all of them. This Bhashyacharya also was a victim for that. This Yamunacharya, when he was young, he was studying well, he was a bright scholar, bright student, and then everything went off well. And it so happened that when the palace scholars came asking for the unpaid dues from the teacher was not there. So Yamunacharya got an opportunity to discuss and debate upon the subject, and he said, "My teacher owes nothing to anybody. I am saying this. If there is any doubt in this, my teacher is such a great scholar that he will not go to anybody. On his behalf, I will come and have a debate with the palace scholar." Somehow the queen was very supportive. Generally, in all these matters, our females have a sixth sense. So she felt very happy, and it resulted in a kind of a betting from the king as well as the queen. The Raja said, "If he is able to defeat, I will give half my kingdom. I will start serving some people." All this. And finally he was defeated, and Yamunacharya was given half the kingdom. And he began to rule. This is where I stop. All of you must be thinking, after all, he was called Yamunacharya. So he was an Acharya. Can an Acharya forgetfully, completely unmindful of what he knows, the greatness of knowledge, the utility of knowledge, the fullness of knowledge, the abundance and ecstasy it can give, bestow, instill and infuse, can he be so blindly sitting on the throne? So this boy's scholarly excellence I presented the other day. Now I will discuss the remaining part of his life. Our country is very great, my dear viewers. You have no regard for India. If you have no regard for India, you don't deserve any regard. If you are not able to evaluate our treasure, our knowledge, our culture, our greatness, the masterly brains we had. Even today when I went to America, I heard people say, they told me, "Swamiji, there is all recognition for Indian brain. They are the supreme in the world. Maybe there is another country also, equally or very nearly so, but our brain is recognized." I was so happy to hear it. Yes, our brain was superb, not now, right from the prehistoric times. And this is one version of that greatness. How much great the human brain can be. Even at a very tender age, he had the confidence and also the fondness and the motivation to say, I will not come to the palace unless I am gloriously invited. And the king heeded it and brought him with all glory. And the whole debate and defeat took place in a matter of moments. Is this not the greatness of India? A scholar becomes a scholar in front of another. If he becomes a scholar in front of a few moderate learners, moderate people who have dabbled with knowledge to some extent, no. He has to be a scholar in the presence and in the company of the others like him. So I pose a question before you. Was such a great scholar, could he sit on the throne, unmindful of the great reward knowledge deserves, the knower deserves? Is knowledge in our country meant for gaining wealth? Is wealth a real goal of human life? Uddhava asked a number of questions to Krishna in the Ekadasha Skandha, the 11th Skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. And 30 questions he said. And one question was, what is the greatest wealth? And Krishna said, contentment is the greatest wealth. This is India. Correct yourself. Amend yourself. Be wise. Be humble. Be glorious in your thinking. What is this wealth? It is all sensory objects. Whether it is gold or silver, what is it? It is a metal. What is your house? Made up of material substances. Wealth is not our objective, nor was it for the young boy who was gifted with half the kingdom, and he was sitting on the throne. What about knowledge, true knowledge? Knowledge itself is immensely resourceful. It is all resourceful. Material things will perish. They are subject to various attacks, but the knowledge will never perish. It is not matter, it is not material. The only way we can describe it is a spiritual treasure. So none of the 5 elements can assail this knowledge treasure. Sticking to the throne, how can the great scholar stick to the throne? What happened really? The kings may rejoice on physical things, physical delights, but a knowledgeable man cannot. So was Yamunacharya more a king or more a wise person? We have to answer all these questions. Could the royal pomp make him forget the greater glory that knowledge can bestow? Yamunacharya's grandfather was on the deathbed. He asked Ram Mishra, his chief disciple, to bring Yamuna back to his spiritual track. Follow my sentences very well. He was on the deathbed. Suppose you are all thinking of your death, etc. Where will be your interest to write your will and amend it last time? Now here is a grandfather, Ram Mishra was the disciple. So he called his disciple and entrusted him with the mission of, he is sitting on the throne, bring him back to his deeper nature. Will you ever be able to give such a message to your grandson? Are you Indians then? Do you have knowledge? Can I credit you with knowledge? It's all for all, this is for all of you to evaluate about your own thinking and assessment. Yamuna was at the time 35 years old. Ram Mishra went to the palace to see him. He felt like fulfilling his guru's wish. But how to gain an audience with this king? After all, king means what? Especially in old times. King was everybody. It's not easy to have an audience with the king. So he evolved a formula for it. There also intelligence is working. He went there, he could not get an audience. So he decided, I would somehow strive in such a manner, apply a methodology by virtue of which Yamunacharya will himself call him rather than his going and tapping at his door. So he thought. There is a particular plant, it's a little thorny plant. I would tell you the name I know. In Malayalam it is called Puttirichunda, Thudavallam. In Sanskrit it is called Valliga Kandakariga, Brihadi. In English it is described as climbing brinjal. I saw another word, turkey berry. All these are the names of that herb. Its fruit is taken, raw fruit is taken. It contains a number of properties. Sodium, potassium, calcium, so many things are there. So I have seen in my house, my family, very rarely this is cooked. It is cooked and taken not for the taste of it, but for the utility and nutrition it contains. So you don't find it as an ordinary dish in any family in the kitchen. So he started taking this plant, the fruits, to the palace. The cook was very obliging and he was also a good person. Oh. He started cooking it every day and giving to the king. It went on, 2 months passed. And one day, this Ram Mishra did not go to the palace and take the herb, the plant, the fruit. So he did not cook it. So the king started inquiring as to what happened. What happened to the vegetable that you are cooking? Why is it missing? He inquired. The king had a lot of taste and enjoyment for it. So Ram Mishra decided purposely not to go that day to the palace. The king summoned and asked the cook why the dish was missing. So the cook replied, the sadhu who used to bring it did not turn up today. Oh, who is he? How much money does he take for his service and the material he brings? The king wanted to know. The cook replied, I did not know his name. He never took any money for it. It is a token, he said, of his love and regard for you. The king said, if he comes again, bring him to me with due regard. Are you listening to me? If he comes again, bring him to me with due regard. Next day, Ram Mishra turned up because he knew what would happen. The cook took him to the king. The king told him, accept my pranams. Is there anything I can do for the service you have been doing for me? Tell me that. Ram Mishra said, I want to have a private audience with you. The king sanctioned it. So in seclusion, what Ram Mishra told him was first about the grandfather. Yamunacharya's grandfather. The grandfather, before his departure, had asked Ram Mishra himself to hand over a great treasure to Yamuna at the right time. Yamuna means Yamunacharya. So the grandfather said, there is a treasure I am giving you. This you should hand over to him at the right time. King was very happy and asked where it was. Then Ram Mishra told him, I can take you there. It is kept within it is safely kept within 7 walls, between 2 rivers, and it is guarded by a serpent. This is not a legend, my dear souls. It is a life history. The king eagerly accepted the proposal and went with Ram Mishra in pursuit of the treasure. So he had given him a treasure, and that treasure is in certain place. So Ram Mishra said, I will take you to that place. So the king left the throne and started following him. While they were resting on the way, Ram Mishra chanted Bhagavad Gita, some portion. I don't know whether you are listening to me. We are discussing Bhagavad Gita otherwise. What Yamuna had learned in childhood flashed back in his memory. Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. I have learned it. A particular shloka he recited. This is from the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 43rd verse. Are you able to understand the connection? We are discussing Bhagavad Gita, and this verse I am also going to discuss if our series continues. And this particular verse, which transpired in the Kurukshetra battlefield 5,000 and odd years ago, that particular verse was going to determine the fate and plight of the Pandya king. Just imagine. What is that verse? Tatratam buddhi samyogam labhade pahurvadehigam yadate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. Krishna was explaining meditation, Atma Samyama Yoga in the 6th chapter. Everything about meditation is discussed by Krishna. After listening to what is the process of meditation, how it takes the seeker to a kind of inner stillness, composure, absorption, Arjuna was wondering. This is something where we have to gain control of the mind, restraint of the mind, employ the mind, and take it to the very source of the thought process. Obviously, this is something hard. This is something very hard. Everyone may not be able to do it and may not be able to succeed. This is all Arjuna's imagination. Don't think it is correct. But whatever he felt, and many of you may also feel, it is presented there. So he asked a question. The yoga that you are propounding, my dear Krishna, is very hard to practice and harder still to complete. So if a person begins the practice, he is not able to complete it. Like clouds which hover in the sky, come down, almost ready to shower. Suddenly a cyclone comes, cyclonic wind, and the whole clouds are blown off. Like that, whatever effort he has done in the path of yoga, will it be frittered away? What will happen? So Krishna says, no, nothing like that. Anybody if he reaches that kind of a state, he will drop his body and go to the best of regions. There he will live as long as he wants. What about the others, ritualists who go to those regions? They are doing some ritual here, and with a ticket they go there. The ritual, how many days will you do? Maybe 7 days or 8 days. An 8-day ritual cannot entitle you for a long, comfortable life above. So they will be pushed back. But this man will remain there as long as he wants and cherishes. Then if he is ready to come back, he will come back. When he comes back, he will be born in a very aristocratic, prosperous family where there will be no dearth for anything. Or he will be born in a yogic family and nobody will obstruct him. Everybody will encourage him. Then, while living there, he says this: Tatratam buddhi samyogam lebhade paurvadehikam. Bah! Suddenly, the old pursuit, memory, etc., it flashes on him. And he catches it, then starts striving, and he attains perfection. So there is no loss. Maximum may be a little delay, that's all. When the discourse was going on and the verse was chanted, Ram Mishra was discussing the subject. Yamunacharya fell at his feet and said, "Accept me as a disciple." He felt royal pleasures were a trifling, very trivial. Ram Mishra smiled at what the youngster said. He said, "We can spend some time together learning Gita and remain for a week on their way in a suitable place." The king said, "Whatever be one's duties, the most important for any man is to understand the true meaning of Bhagavad Gita." This Pandya king, who was sitting on the throne, he makes a statement after listening to Bhagavad Gita. What is that statement? The real goal of human life is to study, learn, and pursue the message of Bhagavad Gita. Therein lies our elevation, our ascent, our fulfillment, our enrichment. What is this Bhagavad Gita? I have been discussing it for nearly 70 years. And everywhere I go and talk, I talk with the same spirit and enthusiasm, depth also. Somehow my listeners rejoice in listening. But I don't know whether they follow the message. Speech I can do. Maybe my speech can be heard at a time, if proper arrangements are there, by thousands of people. When I was talking in Asianet, more than 1 million people were hearing me for 6 days in a week. Sunday I refused to speak. I said, let there be a holiday. The channel wanted me to speak. So speech we can do, explain we can do. We can show the greatness and the grandeur of what Bhagavad Gita can bestow upon you. All these we can do. But when it comes to the question of pursuing or following it, every one of you will have to individually strive. There, Swami will keep quiet. I cannot do anything. But if you come to the ashram and live in our association, the whole process will become lighter, faster, easier, and surer. When he came to the 12th chapter, the 8th verse in their discussion, Mayyeva manāthasva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayyeva, ata urdhvam na samshaya. When I started reading Bhagavad Gita years back, in my pre-sannyasa life when I was in Calcutta, I have read the whole of Bhagavad Gita. I told you that when I had a chicken pox attack, that was the time I opened the book and read the whole of it. Mayeva mana athasva, mayi buddhim niveshaya. Deposit your mind in me. Insert your intelligence into me. In other words, what? Our mind and intelligence should be constantly intertwined with God. It should receive inspiration, a sense of refuge, a sense of protection, guidance, empowerment, everything from God. Nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. When you are able to devote your mind and intelligence, engross them in the thoughts and reliance of God, then from that moment onwards, your life will not be as a secular person in your family on the earth. Your life itself will be divine and you will be living and moving in God. The change is brought about by a mento-intellectual application. I repeatedly say that spirituality is a mento-intellectual practice. A practice done by the mind and the intelligence. No flower is thrown. No article is offered. No pudding is prepared. No dress is offered. No camphor is burnt. What you have to burn, if at all, is your mind and intelligence, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your reason, your memory, your inquiry. Whatever are the products of the mind and the intelligence, they are to be offered. Where is the offer to be done and to whom? To the presence that is animating your body. So where is the offer? Inner. So the inner presence cannot receive an external object. No external object can go inside your body to be received by the inner presence. So the products are necessarily mental and intellectual. When Ram Mishra explained this verse in choked voice, Yamunacharya cried. He cried, I was lost in worldly life. When will my mind be fixed on Him? Fixed on the Lord. See, a person who was sitting on the throne, they are walking now with nobody by their side. It was a casual discussion that they took up. The subject happened to be Bhagavad Gita. And the 12th chapter where devotion is explained. And this one verse made that king, erstwhile king, his voice choked. When will my mind be totally fixed on the Lord? Ram Mishra consoled him, your fascination was only temporary. It will go back to the Lord. It is meant for that. It is like sun getting blocked by clouds. How long will the clouds be there? Right from the morning, as long as in the sky, sun is there and we see him. It is brilliant. And where are the clouds? A long way from the sun. So you will regain. But I have to fulfill my promise made to your grandfather. I would like you to understand that how the mind, the emotional mind responds and pulsates when the intelligence, its elder brother, is ignited with true knowledge. I have said many times, The only agency which can influence and act upon the mind is intelligence, not anything else. The intelligence is the elder brother of mind. So if you want to set right your mind, reform it, refine it, sublimate it, enrich it, ornament it, decorate it, embellish it, intelligence alone can do. Both of them continued their journey. After 4 days, they reached Kaveri in Tamil Nadu, crossed the river, went to Sri Ranganatha temple and passed through those Sapta Prakaras, surrounding walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After crossing the 7th wall, he went in, and Ram Mishra told him, "Here is your grandfather's sole possession, the great Lord Ranganatha," he said. Are you listening to me? This is a fact that occurred in our country. This is an incident in one's life. Is God mere imagination? Is He only in our imagination? Okay, God may be imagination. What about you, the imaginer? And is not God the very self, the I you are referring to? As an object, God may not be there. But as the eternal subject, He is ever present. As soon as Ranganatha was introduced to him, he saw this Yamunacharya ran and fell at the feet of the deity. I think you should have the power of imagination to feel all this. I am wondering, how many amongst you will be able to wish, let me have a child like Yamunacharya? Let me have a child who will love God to the fullness of his or her heart. Whenever saints are born, they are all born invariably because at least the mother had wished for it. Nothing happens as an accident in this world. Everything is an incidental fruition. Maximum you will say, I must have a child like a film star. That is your best prayer. My dear souls, this is not the India I know, I feel, I transact with. My India is entirely different. We are not superficial. We have a body, we have hunger and thirst, we have to appease them, I agree. But we are not the body. Our mind and intelligence are inward to the body, they are not parts of the body. Our personality is really inner, consisting of mind, intelligence and ego. That inner personality is employing this inert body, the material mass called the body. All our needs are internal. All the possessions we are looking for are internal. The treasure we aim at is internal. What is that inner treasure? Knowledge alone can reveal it. And in the ultimate analysis, it is knowledge itself. So Yamunacharya ran and fell at the feet of the deity, and he spent the rest of his time in his service. Now, my connection with Yamunacharya is not what I am reading, what I am telling you now. I happened to read a stotra called Vishnu Stotra and found that it was authored by Yamunacharya. Here are some verses. I don't have to see this Yamunacharya. I realize him by these verses. Na dharma nishtosmi na chatma vedi na bhakti mam stvaccharanāravinde akinjano ananyagadi sharanyam tvatpadamulam sharanam prapadye. I would have uttered this verse quite a number of times, dozens and scores of times, a few hundreds of times. When I utter these verses, I don't want anything. I don't want to see the Lord. I don't want to fall at His feet. This utterance itself gives me fulfillment, an abundance of delight, an abundance of ecstasy, a fullness which my heart cannot even contain. Words are so powerful, so sublime, so majestic, so profound, so magnificent, so superlative in their effect. Na dharma nishtosmi, na cha atma vedi. I am not one who practices dharma with a lot of piety and involvement. Na cha atma vedi. I am not a knower of truth. Na bhakti mam stvaccharanāravinde. My dear Lord, I don't have genuine devotion also to your lotus feet. Then what am I? Akinchanaha. I have nothing to my credit. Ananyagadihi. I have no other refuge also before me. Sharanyam tvatpadamulam sharanam prapadye. Being nobody and nothing, having nothing to claim in the form of a merit or a skill or a deservingness, I seek refuge under you. I fall at your feet. Why don't you recite this verse? All people are asking how the mind will become pure. Mind will not become pure by taking tea and coffee. Mind will become pure when the mind is made to feel. Make it feel like this. Na dharma nishtosmi, na cha atma vedi, na bhakti mam stvaccharanāravinde, akinchano ananyagadi sharanyam tvatpadamulam sharanam prapadye. Having nothing to claim, I can only claim a refuge under your feet. The whole world is born of you, and I am an insignificant part of the world. If the entire world is yours, I am also yours. So I have a claim on your lap. You cannot refuse it. So I am not seeking your feet with a lot of merit, skill and regard and all that. I am falling at your feet, having nothing, wanting nothing, with all the discredit if possible. But I have a claim. Namo namo vang manasadi bhoomaye. Namo namo vang manasadi bhoomaye. Namo namo vang manasaiga bhoomaye. Namo namo Ananta Mahavibhudaye. Namo namo Ananta Dayaiga Sindhave. I would like you to recite this verse. Can you recite? Namo namo.
Namo namo.
Vang manasadi bhoomaye.
Vang manasati bhoomaye.
Namo namo vang manasadi bhoomaye.
Namo namo vang manasati bhoomaye.
Namo namo.
Namo namo.
Vang manasaiga bhoomaye.
Vang manasaika bhoomaye.
Namo namo vang manasaiga bhoomaye.
Namo namo vang manasaika bhoomaye.
Namo namo Ananta Mahavibhudaye.
Namo namo Ananta Mahavibhudaye.
Namo namo Ananta Mahavibhudaye.
Namo namo Ananta Mahavibhudaye.
Namo namo Anantadayaiga Sindhave.
Namo Namo Anantadayaika Sindhave.
Namo Namo Anantadayaiga Sindhave.
Namo Namo Anantadayaika Sindhave.
See, it's such a beautiful thing. You know why this shloka I like, this particular verse? It takes you from one level to the other level. We are now in the sensory level, where we see, we hear, we smell, we taste and touch. Things are solid, fluid, gaseous, brilliant, etc. So from this level, we go inward. Where can we go? Our body cannot fly. So if there is any progression, that progression is inward. You get into the mental plane, the intellectual plane, the ego plane, and transcend that also. And the whole process of rising or transcendence is wrought by what? By our thought process, imagination process, intellectual process, intellection process. So he says, prostrations and prostrations. Vang manasati bhumaye. Bah. My dear Lord, you are above the range of mind and speech. Whenever I utter a name or utter a hymn, it is actually an exercise, an employment of my speech. Maybe ideas are there from the mind, but actually you are transcending the level of the mind and the level of the speech. Namo Namo Vang Manasaiga Bhumaye. Though you are transcending mind and speech, you are revealed in the mind and in the speech. When I explain to you, will you understand it? I am talking to you. Words are simply coming from my mouth. Then only I hear them. I don't understand what I am going to speak. Doctors may say that ideas are getting formed in the skull, in the brain. Maybe. But do I do anything in the brain to formulate the ideas? And how are they transmitted to the vocal system? And the voice starts coming from the umbilical cord to the heart, to the throat, to the tongue, to the lips, to the nose. What is this? Am I flowing along with them like a driver driving his car? No, I don't know anything. So who motivates the speech? Who makes the speech express? Who makes the thought equally express? It is your own presence, your own wonderful, all-powerful presence that has created this body. This human body, which is capable of thinking, articulating, acting, interacting. Just like the fingers are folding, our brain can think, our mind can feel, our tongue can speak. But behind everything, underneath everything, it is your own presence, your own domain. There is nothing that is different from you. Namo Namo Ananta Maha Vibhutaye. How do you understand the greatness of God? By looking at the world one, but far more by looking at our own human body. It is only in this human body you can conduct an examination into the inner presence and then probe it until at last you reach the very source of creation. In an elephant's body it is not possible. In a rhinoceros's body it is not possible. In a horse body it is not possible. Only in a human body. So the real wonder God has made is the human body and the human potential themselves. Namo Namo Ananta Mahavibhudaye. How do I know that you are of infinite glory? It is your own revelation. Namo Namo Ananta Dayaiga Sindhave. You are so great, so powerful, so honorable, so multiply potent. In spite of it, there is one great feature in you which makes me and all others approach you without any reservation. That is, you have infinite mercy. You are an abode of mercy. See, in 4 lines, he has brought everything. In the ashram, this verse is repeatedly sung. Namo Namo Vang Manasadi Bhumaye. Namo Namo Vang Manasaiga Bhumaye. Namo Namo Ananta Mahavibhudaye. Namo Namo Ananta Daiga Sindhave. So everyone has a right to approach God. The sinner as well as the virtuous man. See what a beautiful verse this is. Na nindidam karma tadasti loke sahasrasho yennamaya vyadhayi soham vibhakavasare mugunda krandami sampratyagadhistavagre. I am wondering, amongst all my viewers, will there not be at least half a dozen people who will be able to take to this recitation and let me know how much it enriches them, empowers them, elevates them, refines them, sublimates them, expands their mind and crowns them with the infinite glory of human life. He says, Na nindidam karma tadasti loke sahasrasho yennamaya vyadhayi. In the world, there is no hateful task, abominable task, which I have not done thousands of times. So I have done thousands of times the most abominable acts. Such a person, soham vibhakavasare mugunda. Oh Mugunda, when all these forbidden acts I have done, they are bearing their fruit. Krandami sampratyagadhistavagre. Krandami, I am crying aloud. Sampradi, now. Agadhistavagre. Because I have no other refuge. I have somehow come to your friend and I am crying aloud. See, this is the way a Vaishnava prays. Humbling himself. See, by all these verses what happens? Your inner personality gets completely transformed. It will not be transformed by physical acts. Physical acts are more an expression. This recitation is, you bring the sound from within your inner depths, mind and intelligence. And by hearing, the very sounds go back to the same mind and intelligence, and the cycle is completed, and purity and reformation suddenly occur. Soham vibhagavasare mugunda krandami sampratyagadhistavagre abhutapurvam mama bhavikim va sarvam saheme sahajam hi dukkham kintu tvadagre sharanagadanam parabhavo natha nate nurupaha. See, sometimes when I talk, I don't know how many of you understand. I am very free with God. I am very free with God. I am as godly as God is. There is no difference between him and me. I don't have to say God, because the I, that itself is a reference to him. So the God is a secondary word. Any name is a secondary word. The first word is the I itself. So is there anybody who does not remember God? Because the I is the first reference. So, I am very free with him. So sometimes I say, the other day I was asking, and our Seduraman who has come from Swamiji, some people may think that it is a pride. Not at all pride. It is the greatest note of humility to speak to God whatever you want, to think of him in any manner you like. What is my liking? It is shaped by him. Just like the body is shaped by God, the mind is shaped, the thoughts are shaped, the feelings are shaped. So here, see how he puts it. Abhuda purvam mama bhavi kim va sarvam saheme sahajam hi dukkham kintu tvadagre sharanagadanam parabhavo natha natenu rupaha. I don't know when you will start reciting all this. He says, Abhuta purvam mama bhavi kim va sarvam saheme sahajam hi dukkham. In this world, in human life particularly, grief is very, very natural, irresistible, unavoidable, unpreventable. Every day you have the touch of grief. So grief which is so common, so unpreventable. I may be grieving for many things in my life. Unprecedented occurrences may be there and I may grieve. But, my dear Lord, kintu tvadagre sharanagadanam parabhavo natha natenu rupaha. This is my story. Let me think of your story. What is that? You are the great goodness, gracious God. You cannot withhold your mercy. Can you ever say any human being in this world is created by somebody else? It is not my creation. Can you say that? No. So my dear Lord, Sharanagadanam parabhavo nathanatenu rupaha. If you feel humiliated or there is a discomfiture, oh, this person has come to me, such a colossal sinner, finally with no refuge he has come to me. Oh, I am put into difficulty. I don't like to look at him. I am very busy. You cannot say. It does not tally with your nature. It is not in harmony with your real nature and real resourcefulness. So, I may be wrong, but you cannot reject me, my dear Lord. See, this is the way devotees think. Anything they can think. I don't know whether I will find one amongst you who will come and say, Swamiji, I have become free with God. I can tell him anything that I like. I always ask, if we are imperfect, if we are wrong, where from did the idea of wrong emerge and allure the mind of a human? That human is a creation of God. The world is a creation of God. His interactions are shaped by him in the crucible of God. So ultimately, God alone is responsible for everything. When you understand this truth, you become free. You become free. Because there is no you. It is all God's. Nirasagasyapi natavadutsahe Maheshahatum tabapada pankajam rushanirasto vishishustanandaya najadu madhuscharana jihasadi. It is quite a number of verses. Nirasakasyabi natavadutsahe maheshahatum tavapada pankajam. Suppose looking into my history, I am a person who sat on the throne and forgot you for a while seemingly. And my teacher had to come to me. Initially he supplied a particular vegetable which my cook, without anybody asking him, cooked for me. One day I missed it. Then I asked for who was supplying. Then I asked him to be brought with honor. And this is how the whole thing has happened. So what happened to me in between? So you may say, you are not a good boy. Nirasakasyabi na tavadutsahe. Suppose you turn away from me, maheshahatum tabapada pankajam. Even then I will not leave your feet. You try to walk without me, I will be entangled with your feet. You will have to trample over me, shake me off. Even then I will hold faster. Rushanirasto vishishustanandaya. When the children, even small children, sometimes they bite the breast when the mother is feeding, while they are suckling. The mother will feel a lot of pain. My mother used to say, catch hold of like this, then the child will leave. There will be a little pain. So the mother sometimes punishes and sometimes even say, no, don't come to me, go. She will push me, push the child. Even Rushani Rastobi Shishustanandaya Najadu Madhuscharana Jihasadi. Even the child never frees from the hold of the mother. The mother's hand, or whatever it may be, the child will be holding on to firmly. There is one more verse, but I have no time. Pitatvam madatvam dayitatanayastvam priyasuhrde tvamevatvam mitram gururasi gadishchasi jagadam tvamevattvadbhrityastava parijanastvad prabannaschayivam satyahamapi tavaivasmihi bharaha. Most of these verses I used to recite in my own way, and I get a lot of joy. I don't want Mahavishnu or anybody to come to me. I sing, chant, and in that chanting itself is exhilaration and fulfillment. So here is a devotee for the Lord who doesn't want even the Lord, but who would like to sing the names of the Lord and hymns about Him. Never asking Him to come before Him. No, not at all. He says, I consider you as my father, mother, my child, intimate friend. You are a benefactor, you are my teacher, you are my refuge. For the whole world also you are the refuge. I am your servant, assistant. I am your confident person. You alone are my refuge. When I have sought refuge under you in this all-fold manner, I feel, my dear Lord, I become a load for you. A load for you. I am very sorry. See, this is how you have to become free. So the Yamunacharya did not sit on the throne for long. His scholarship, the wisdom he had, did not abandon him. It reminded him in a very strong manner, and he left everything. Half the kingdom he gave back, and half the kingdom he wrote in the name of Sri Rangam Lord. And his whole life was spent there in the service of the Lord. This is India, my dear souls. Would you not like to have at least a grandchild of this dimension? A grandchild, maybe your child you may not like to have. At least have a grandchild who will have this kind of an exalted dimension. Where is wealth now? Where is the kingly power now? Who asked him to get away from the throne? It is knowledge. 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 Knowledge of what? Knowledge of human life, its goal, its real objective, and knowledge as to how wrongly he was otherwise. Let me stop. Now, where is the connection? Are you thinking about it? I was telling you about Yamunacharya, the king, who was a very bright student and scholar. Bhagavad Gita. This is the story of Bhagavad Gita. What is the effect Bhagavad Gita can bring about in a human mind, in a human intelligence? How does it impact even the ruler sitting on the throne? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tadaha. By getting which gain, you feel that there is nothing superior to that. So, no throne, no kingship, no emperorship, nothing of the world can equal the greatness of this knowledge and realization. And everything has happened because of this Bhagavad Gita. So we are actually relating the story of Bhagavad Gita and the marvelous effects it can produce, it produces in the human mind and intelligence. Remember this. Samvedya varjitamanuttamamekamadyam samvidpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan akartrapadamethya samodidashri kurvan akartrapadamethya samodidashri. Hari, 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 Om Tats, Jaya Guru. We shall have the Samapana, Omkara, conclusional Omkara, joint recitation and disperse. Take your pose for it. Hari Om Tats Jaya Guru.